Underscoring the importance of natural endowment for artistic expression or creative endeavor, Africa's first Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, posits that an artist is either born to his art or is not. For Prince Bayo Akanwu Sonda, the scion of Baba Yaji Salami Sonda Maradisa, head of all the ruling houses in Oyo, who reigned from June 1940 to June 1976, and Madam Suliat Ojefunke Ajike Ojebode, his royal background undoubtedly fully equipped him for his job as a film editor with the defunct WNTV WNBS, later a television producer, presenter, and administrator extraordinary. This is more so considering the fact that Oyo town, his place of birth, epitomizes unadulterated culture, custom, and tradition. Hence the saying, Ajishebi Oyo laari, Oyo ki shebi baba enikoko. That is, Oyo town imitates no one in matters of culture. Rather, Oyo Alaafin, Ojo Pashekere Omo Atiba is noli secundus. Raw talents without training certainly would have reduced the scope of influence of Bayo Sonda in his chosen career. Rather than allow his royal blood get into his head, he took his educational pursuit seriously. He started his journey into Western formal education in 1945 at the Native Authority School, Olonini, Oyo, where he distinguished himself as a brilliant pupil. Between 1948 and 52, he was at Native Authority School, Doba, and later proceeded to the Baptist Boys High School, now Olivet Heights, Oyo, where he passed out in flying colors.
He had all A's in his school certificate exam when he passed out of Olivet Baptist High School in 1958, and I was living with him as a very young boy. He started life as a teacher, and being a teacher has nothing really much to do with what he ended up doing. Although we can relate them, his teaching career was very short. And immediately after about 6 months, he went into Barclays Bank, from where he now crossed to WNTV WNBS.
Dr. Akinyemi Farombi was his predecessor as the general manager of NTA Ibadan, which later metamorphosed to NTA Ibadan Zonal Center.
He had Kaoru Jinde, he had Tiwantiwa. And in the course of producing this program, he made Ewi, the Yoruba poetry, an important component of his program. I will in fact say that he used WNTV WNBS to popularize Ewi and to elevate it to the standard that it has reached today. At a point in time, the management of WNTV WNBS asked me to get a collection of all the Ewis, including that of Bayo Sonda, brought on to his program and published them. And I remember at the time, in fact, it was accepted as a school text. That was who Bayo was.
Bayo was not only a man of culture, but also a cultured man and a hard-boiled professional.
Bayo Sonda distinguished himself as a very great producer. His capacity to organize his production team was almost matchless in his time. He was a very good presenter too. He had a velvet voice. He was a Yoruba man in the sense that he was committed to the Yoruba culture. He was almost always in this kind of outfit, and on big occasions, we put on the top one.
In his early formative years, Bayo was under the tutelage of Pa Mustafa Alabi, popularly known as Baba Hussein, who taught him all he needed to know about royalty, ethics, and morality.
Royalty reflects in virtually every prince, because the Yorubas will say, now, royalty with him has to do with his flamboyance. My uncle was a dresser. When you see him dress, you will know this is a prince. And being photogenic, being good to look at, all this made him what he became. And that goes for me.
A linguist by excellence, Bayo spoke and wrote the Yoruba language, his mother tongue, with relish, while also comporting himself as a worthy ambassador of the Yoruba race. Little wonder he attracted the best of brains in Yoruba oral poetry, Ewi, such as Lanrewaju Adepoju, Olatubosun Ladapo, and a host of others.
I was a teacher at St. David's Primary School, Kudeti, Ibadan, in 1968. And I was coming to WMBS 1968-69 on freelance to chant Ewi, 5 minutes every day. Eventually, I met Bayo on a program called Kaaro Ojire. 5 minutes to the end of the program, we will chant Ewi, 5 minutes Ewi. That's how Bayo invited me. So occasionally I'll be coming, other poets will be coming, Alabi Ogundepo, Yemi Elebuban, Lanre Adepoju, and so many others will be coming intermittently. That's how I met Adebayo Sanda. But eventually, he instigated the process of my employment into this corporation.
Together, radio and television listeners and viewers were treated to the best of the best in Yoruba poetry. Highly educative, informative, and entertaining programs, and must-watch news production and presentation.
When I was young, we were listening to his voice on radio because my dad had a radio set, and whenever he's about to start the program, Kaaro Ojire, my father would call every one of us, including our mother, who happens to be illiterate, the three of them. And whenever he came around to see my father, before moving to the main building to see his father, he would first of all call at our building.
He's the patriarch of broadcasting in the family. He was the one that established the family in that line. But everyone that came after him in the trade is by himself or herself a force to reckon with. My uncle, Prince Abiodun, who came after him immediately, is known to be an excellent producer, excellent broadcaster of first grade. My sister, Adejoju Yabode, fantastic. My cousin, Taiwo Sanda. My other cousin, Bola Sanda. All of these people and myself, we really proved our mettle when we came on the job. Nobody could say that, oh, we were brought in because of his influence. It wasn't long before we proved ourselves to the world. As the manager programs, a position he attained not only for reasons of seniority but imagined the best candidate for the job, Bayo proved his mettle, as attested to by Dr. Akinyemi Farumbi.
Towards the end of WNTV, WMBS, he emerged in a very competitive interview as the manager program for what was then called NTV Ibadan, and it's now called NTA Ibadan. Eventually, I also emerged as the general manager. And because he's a very likable person, he was so resourceful, not only in English, but he was a master in Yoruba. He was a headmaster in production, and he was a principal in human relationship. So, of course, so when I had to leave, he was a natural successor. I mean, there's no argument about that. There was nobody to contest it with him.
Late Nelson Mandela said, "Humility is one of must-have good qualities of a leader." Bayo could be humble to a fault.
That time, some of us could be impatient as young men, but he took it all in his stride. And he also knew that we were all behaving with the best of intentions, seeking the best for the organization at all times. So he took some of our impatience in his stride, and he had a way of tempering your anger or your lack of patience. You get to him, or you got to him. By the time you are walking out, you would just feel relaxed, and you sometimes even you are saying, "Oh yeah, and then you had no choice but to just laugh off and go." And there was nowhere in the premises. He wouldn't stop by to talk to you, sometimes ask about family that may have nothing to do with work. Sometimes ask about work. To him, it was just a big family, and he wanted every member to be happy.
It was so simple that it became almost ridiculous, and it was almost very gullible that he would believe anybody. He saw everybody in the true sense of it. He saw beyond the intricacies and the politics and the machinations of men. He was a very open-hearted, very simple-minded man, and oftentimes people took advantage of him.
Bayo is a nice gentleman, and it's very easy to work with. And as a prince from Baba Yaji of Oyo State, Oyo Kingdom, he maintained the statue, and the pride of Prince is on him.
Bayo's generation had access not only to in-house training, but training in the best of broadcast institutes home and abroad. Bayo had the privilege of attending television production courses in Sydney, Australia, Syracuse University, New York, as well as the University of Lagos, where he studied mass communication. His broadcast training also took him to England, France, Senegal, India, and other parts of the globe.
By our training in WNTV, WNBS, we were prepared for the topmost position in management. And therefore, anyone who had the training, who had the knowledge, who had the commitment, could fit into any management position. In case of Bayo, if you had taken him to some other position, for example, executive director, admin, and finance, he would have done well. He would have fitted in. Because his training, his grounding in WNTV was first class.
That Bayo rose phenomenally. Give it to his tenacity of purpose, knack for excellence, interpersonal relationship, unalloyed commitment, and dedication to the career he loved so much. He talked, walked, and breathed broadcasting, a delight to watch either as a presenter or newscaster.
When he was producing and presenting Barika every Saturday, everybody would listen. Sad Barika, and he would crack jokes. Everybody loved him for that program, and nobody could match him. It's a humorous presentation on Barika every Saturday.
We share the same vision of using television to change the society, what we call television for action. We looked at inefficiencies in the society. And because he was the program boss, so he was the one who would translate this into reality, into programs.
We had to travel all over Yoruba land for all these local indigenous festivals. Ogun Festival at Ilesha, we had to go and cover it. Agema Festival in Ijebuland, we had to go and cover it. All indigenous musicians, Dadakwada from Ilorin, Ayoyemi Atokowagbole from Ibadan, Akpekpe from Ijebu, Tabarikolo music from Efan, all over Yoruba land. Because prior to that time, it was only English programs on television.
His ever-smiling mien, broad-mindedness, and friendly disposition, coupled with proper grounding in the intricacies of television broadcasting, made him a delight to work with even beyond his NTA career. Prince Bayo, as the Executive Chairman of Third Eye Newspaper and Executive Chairman, Board of Directors, Broadcasting Corporation of your state twice, raised the bar.
For us at BCOS, things are now looking up. Looking up in the sense at the kind of things you would like to see, the kind of actions you want to see, the kind of developments you want to see, and not put squarely on the shoulders of government alone, but that BCOS must carry its own share for the body.
During his stay here as the chairman of the board, he was a stabilizing factor. He was somebody who, when we would have management meetings or board meetings, it was easy for me to get him to understand what I was saying. And as a man of wisdom himself, it was so easy for him to be able to present our case to the other members of the board, so much so that we had that spirit of camaraderie guiding our interactions at our board meetings. And I can say that that was why it was so easy for us to be able to carry out the intervention that we did when this administration came on board.
Broadcast journalism is, no doubt, a time-consuming enterprise, as it leaves one with little or no time for the family. Bayo gave his job his all, but not to the detriment of his family.
His ardent love for the wife may have done the trick, because they so much loved each other that my uncle had no time for any other woman.
I know his family. I knew his wife. I knew his, I still know his children. If I know some of his in-laws, because of our relationship. So I saw him as a family man. And I was satisfied with him. Otherwise, he won't be my friend.
We kind of all grew up from Ibadan. So when we met in Lagos, it was a continuation of the relationship we established from Ibadan. His children and my children went to school together, and they were always in touch.
I could remember in 1981, when Kenny and I happened to be twins, when the two of us were at the General Post Office here in Oyo. I went to tell him about what happened. He told us that that is not where you people are going yet. It is not the job right away. Go back to school. I was at the University of Lagos while my brother was at the Poly. You see, if he was so self-centered, he wouldn't have came out with that instructions. And we took it, and it is better for us now.
Yes, he was the ebullient type, ever smiling. Whatever worried his staff, short-circuited his smiles.
He has in the interest of his staff paramount in his mind.
When we travel out, he will give me money to go and feed myself. He will give me money to enjoy. When he gets suit,
he asked me to take one bed, but he always told me that I must not go beyond my boundary.
No matter how bright the sky is, there are bound to be patches of clouds. No matter how joyful life is, it cannot be without its challenges.
The death of the wife was so much a shock to him because of the love, the genuine love that bounded them. And trouble never blows whistles, you know. And when they want to pour, they don't rain anymore. He lost 2 sons also. So that may have shattered his health also. But we leave everything to God.
When my mother passed, we thought that it was just a matter of months before he wrapped it up. But the man lived very many years after her. And when my brothers passed, especially my younger brother, who was a split image of him, we thought that was going to be like horrible too. But my father forged ahead to the point that we could actually still talk about my brothers that had passed with my father. We have conversations about them. So it wasn't like, it was not a no-go area. We talked freely about my mother. We talked freely about my late brothers. So he just forged ahead. He understood that life was beautiful, but there would be sports in between it. And he was ready for it. He didn't wish for it. But when it came, he took it as a man. If the gifts of oratory are one of the prerequisites for distinguished political career, this came naturally with Bayo after a distinguished broadcast career.
Anybody who has left NTA is a big man or woman today. So NTA is not only slave driving for fun, it is doing it for a purpose, to make sure that it turns out men and women of caliber, people who can hold their own in society, and people who will make a mark. And we are seeing evidences of that all over the place, and we should be proud of ourselves.
In order to bring his wealth of experience to bear on political leadership and make a difference, Bayo ventured into the murky waters of politics, contesting as the Alliance for Democracy Oyo Central Senatorial District candidate in 2003. Man proposes.
When you retire from active service and you are home, doing not much particularly, and with his stature, everybody wanted him in his party or something. So left and right, he was being drawn. At a point, you succumb to pressure and dabble into what they want you to do. And he being an altruistic fellow, he want to serve his community.
Prince Bayo may have gone the way of all mortals. His indelible imprints on the national broadcast landscape will continue to be a reference point for a long time to come.
Veterans did a lot, and we should be appreciative of what they did. We can still do more. We will do more, and we hope that the old veterans, they are getting too old now. I hope they will live long enough to see more better days of television. I thank you very much.
Adégbìndín lọ, Àkànwé erin lọ, ọmọọba Báyọ̀ Sàndá lọ, ọ̀bọ ṣòkòtò fẹ́nu ẹ̀ sọlẹ̀, ọkùnrin lọ, ó ṣe díẹ̀ níbẹ̀, Adébáyọ̀ Sàndá, ọmọ bàbá Ìyájì, ó ṣe díẹ̀ níbẹ̀, kó tó fàbọ̀ fọ́lọ́run ọba, ó ṣe díẹ̀ níbẹ̀. Fare thee well, ọmọọba Báyọ̀ Sàndá, my employer, my friend, my benefactor. May your soul rest in perfect peace.